Hey you, ever wake up feeling like the day's already slipping through your fingers? What if I told you that the first words you say to yourself each morning could completely rewrite your life? Welcome to ZenLite8, where we dive deep into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Today, we're sharing 12 powerful affirmations that'll transform your mornings, spark unshakable clarity, and set you on a path to conquer your day like a true Stoic warrior. Ready to take control? Let's jump in. Nothing and no one can steal my peace. Picture this. You wake up to the soft hum of a new day. The world outside is already buzzing. Traffic humming, notifications pinging. Maybe even the neighbor's dog barking before the sun's fully up. It's so easy to let that noise creep into your mind, isn't it? To let it unravel the quiet you felt for just a fleeting moment. But here's the truth, my friend. The one thing I want you to hold on to like a lifeline. Nothing and no one can steal your peace unless you hand it over. That's right. Your inner calm, that sacred stillness within you, is yours to protect. It's not a gift the world gives or takes away. It's a choice you make every single morning. And today, I'm going to show you why claiming that choice can change everything. Let's be real for a second. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The moment you step out of bed, the day throws curveballs. Maybe it's a snarky email from your boss, a friend who's upset over something you didn't even mean, or just the weight of a to-do list that feels like it's suffocating you. It's tempting to think, why does this always happen to me? I've been there too, waking up and letting the first thing that went wrong set the tone for my entire day. A spilled coffee, a missed bus, and suddenly I'm spiraling, feeling like the universe is out to get me. But then I learned something that flipped my perspective upside down, something the Stoics mastered centuries ago. The chaos outside doesn't have to become the chaos inside. Think of your mind as a fortress. The walls are strong, built from your thoughts, your choices, your will. The world can bang on the gates all it wants. People can judge, plans can fall apart, life can throw storms your way, but those walls only crumble if you let them. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced wars, betrayals, and an empire's worth of pressure, put it so perfectly. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Read that again. The pain isn't the event. It's how you judge it, how you let it sink its claws into you. That's the secret the Stoics held close, and it's the key to unlocking a kind of freedom most people only dream of. I want to share a story that brings this home. A few years back, I met Sarah, a single mom juggling 2 jobs and a mountain of stress. Every morning, she'd wake up to a phone buzzing with demands. Bills due, kids needing her, coworkers piling on last-minute tasks. She told me she felt like she was drowning before she even got out of bed. "I just want one day where nothing goes wrong," she said, her voice heavy with exhaustion. I listened, and instead of offering quick fixes, I asked her one question. What if you decided that none of those things could touch your peace? She looked at me like I'd lost my mind, but I pressed on. What if, tomorrow morning, you woke up and told yourself, no matter what comes, I'm staying steady? Sarah was skeptical, but she gave it a try. The next day, she started small. Before checking her phone or rushing to get the kids ready, she sat on the edge of her bed, took a deep breath, and whispered, "Nothing can steal my peace today." No grand gestures, no magic wand, just a quiet promise to herself. And you know what? The world didn't stop throwing curveballs. Her son spilled juice on the carpet. Her boss sent a passive-aggressive email, and the car made a weird noise she couldn't afford to fix. But something was different. Sarah wasn't reacting the way she used to. Instead of snapping or spiraling, she paused. She reminded herself that those moments didn't own her. She did. Over weeks, that one phrase became her anchor. She started noticing how much energy she'd wasted on things she couldn't control. Other people's moods, unexpected hiccups, even the weather. By choosing to guard her peace, she wasn't just surviving her days anymore. She was living them. She smiled more, not because life got easier, but because she stopped letting it dictate her joy. Sarah's story isn't unique. It's proof of what happens when you decide your inner world is yours to shape. Let's make this practical because I know you're wondering, how do I actually do this? It starts with a moment of intention. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone or let the day's demands rush in, pause. Close your eyes if you need to. Say to yourself, slowly, deliberately, "Nothing and no one can steal my peace." Feel the weight of those words. They're not just a mantra, they're a shield. Throughout the day, when something tries to rattle you, a rude comment, a plan gone wrong, come back to that promise. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. This isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything's fine. It's about reclaiming your power. You can't control the coworker who's always negative or the traffic jam that makes you late, but you can control how much space they take up in your head. Science backs this up too. Studies in psychology, like those from the University of California, show that people who practice emotional regulation, choosing how to respond rather than reacting impulsively, report lower stress and higher life satisfaction. The Stoics were onto this long before modern research, proving that peace isn't found in a perfect life but in a disciplined mind. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Some days you'll slip. You'll let that one annoying email or that nagging worry get under your skin. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. It's progress. Each time you choose peace over chaos, you're building a habit, strengthening those fortress walls. And the more you practice, the more natural it feels. You'll start to notice how much lighter you feel, how much clearer your mind is when you don't carry the world's weight on your shoulders. My friend, this is your invitation to rewrite your mornings, to wake up and claim the one thing no one can touch unless you let them, your peace. It's not about shutting out the world. It's about standing firm in it. You're not a leaf blown by every breeze. You're a tree, rooted deep, unshaken by the storms. So tell me, are you ready to guard your peace like the treasure it is? Because once you do, you'll see every day in a new light. And speaking of seeing things differently, what if you woke up tomorrow and decided today isn't just another day, but a fresh chance to build something extraordinary? Let's explore that next. Today is not just another day. It's a new opportunity. Imagine waking up to the soft glow of dawn. The world's still quiet before it bursts into its usual frenzy. Your eyes open, and for a split second, everything feels possible. But then the familiar thought creeps in. Ugh, just another day. Sound familiar? I've been there too, dragging myself out of bed, already braced for the same old routine. But what if I told you that thought, those 4 little words, could be the chain holding you back from a life you've only dreamed of? My friend, today is not just another day. It's a blank page, a fresh canvas, a brand new opportunity to write a story that lights you up. And on this journey with ZenLite8, I'm here to show you how to seize it with both hands. Let's pause and think about what a day really is. 24 hours, 1,440 minutes. Each one a tiny seed you can plant for growth, joy, or change. Most people sleepwalk through their days, stuck on autopilot, repeating the same patterns without questioning them. They see Monday as a hurdle, Friday as a finish line, and every day in between as just something to get through. But the Stoics, those wise souls who thrived in chaos, saw it differently. To them, every sunrise was a call to action, a chance to sharpen their character, to live with purpose. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up groaning about another day of ruling an empire. He rose with conviction, knowing each moment was a test to be better, to do better. And you, my friend, have that same power. I want to tell you about Jake, a guy I met at a coffee shop a while back. He was in his late 20s, stuck in a job he didn't love, feeling like life was passing him by. Every day feels the same, he told me, stirring his coffee like it held the answers. I wake up, go to work, come home, and do it all again. What's the point? I could see the weight in his eyes, the kind that comes from believing tomorrow will be just like today. So I asked him, what if you stopped seeing today as just another day? What if you treated it like a fresh start? He laughed, skeptical, but I pushed him to try something simple. Tomorrow morning, before he did anything else, he'd say out loud, "Today is a new opportunity." Jake humored me. The next day, he woke up and spoke those words, feeling a bit silly at first. But something shifted. Instead of rushing through his morning, he took a moment to think. What's one thing I can do today to feel alive? He decided to listen to a podcast on his commute instead of scrolling through social media. That small choice led to another. He struck up a conversation with a coworker he'd never really talked to before. By the end of the day, he felt different. Not because his life had changed overnight, but because he'd chosen to see the day as a chance to grow. Over weeks, those tiny shifts snowballed. He started journaling, picking up skills he'd always wanted to learn, even taking evening walks to clear his head. Jake wasn't just surviving anymore, he was building a life that excited him. Here's the magic. You don't need a perfect day to make it count. You don't need everything to go your way. Science backs this up. A study from the Journal of Positive Psychology found that people who approach each day with a sense of possibility, what researchers call an opportunity mindset, report higher motivation and lower stress. It's not about changing your circumstances. It's about changing how you see them. Picture your day like a blank notebook. You could fill it with the same old scribbles, or you could write something bold, something new. Maybe it's 5 minutes of meditation before work, a kind word to a stranger, or finally starting that project you've been putting off. Every choice is a stroke of the pen, shaping the story of your life. So how do you make this real? Start small, but start with intention. Tomorrow morning, before the world pulls you in, say to yourself, "Today is a new opportunity." Let those words sink in. Then ask, what's one thing I can do today to move toward who I want to be? It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing or sending that email you've been avoiding. The point is to act with purpose, to treat this day as a gift, not a burden. Because here's the truth. The only thing standing between you and a life of growth is the decision to see each day as a chance to start fresh. But seizing the day isn't just about seeing it differently. It's about owning it. And that brings us to the next truth you need to embrace. I am the master of my day. Now that you've claimed today as a new opportunity, let's talk about who's really in charge of it. Spoiler alert, it's you. But let's be honest. How often do you feel like your day belongs to everyone else? Your phone buzzes with notifications before you're even out of bed. Your boss needs this, your friend needs that, and suddenly you're juggling a dozen things you didn't sign up for. By the time night falls, you're exhausted, wondering where your time went. Sound familiar? My friend, it's time to take the wheel. When you wake up and declare, "I am the master of my day," you're not just saying words, you're drawing a line in the sand. This is your time, your life, and you get to decide how it unfolds. Let's break this down. Every day, you're handed 24 hours, same as everyone else. The difference between those who feel alive and those who feel trapped isn't luck or circumstance. It's choice. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. Seneca, one of their sharpest minds, said, "Life is not short, we make it short." He wasn't talking about years. He was talking about how we let our days slip away, handed over to distractions, demands, or indecision. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something out of guilt or habit, only to regret it later? How many hours have you lost to scrolling, worrying, or fixing problems that weren't yours? Those moments add up, and before you know it, you're living someone else's priorities. I want to share a story about Mia, a graphic designer I coached a while back. Mia was drowning in her schedule, client deadlines, family obligations, and a never-ending stream of urgent requests from colleagues. "I don't have time for myself," she told me, her voice tight with frustration. "It's like my day starts, and I'm already behind." I asked her to track one day, just one, and write down every time she let someone else decide how she spent her time. The results shocked her. From the moment she woke up, she was reacting, answering emails before breakfast, saying yes to favors she didn't have time for, even skipping her evening yoga because a friend needed to vent. Mia wasn't living her day. She was surviving it. So we made a plan. Every morning, before touching her phone, Mia would sit quietly for 2 minutes and say, "I am the master of my day." Then she'd write down 3 things she wanted to accomplish. Not for anyone else, but for herself. Could be as simple as sketching for 15 minutes or taking a walk at lunch. The first week was tough. She had to say no to a few people, which felt uncomfortable. But something incredible happened. By setting her own priorities, she started carving out space for what mattered. She finished a personal art project she'd shelved for months. She felt energized, not drained, at the end of her days. Mia didn't change her job or her responsibilities. She changed who was in control. This isn't about being selfish or shutting out the world. It's about protecting your time like the treasure it is. Studies from Harvard Business Review show that people who set clear boundaries and prioritize their goals are not only more productive but also happier. It's like flying a plane. If you don't set your course, every gust of wind will throw you off track. But when you're the pilot, you decide where to go. That means saying no sometimes, not because you don't care, but because you care enough about your own path to guard it. It means starting your day with intention, not reaction. Here's how you can start. Tomorrow morning, before the chaos begins, take a moment to ground yourself. Say, I am the master of my day. Write down 1 or 2 things you want to do for you. Maybe it's reading a chapter of a book, stretching for 5 minutes, or working on a passion project. Then, when the world tries to pull you away, and it will, remind yourself who's in charge. It's okay to let a text wait, to decline a request that doesn't align with your goals. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to live fully. Owning your day doesn't mean you control everything that happens. Life will still throw surprises your way, but it means you control what you give your energy to. You decide whether to spend your morning stressed about a coworker's drama or focused on your own growth. You choose whether to let a bad moment ruin your day or to keep moving forward. That's the power of being the master, not of the world, but of yourself. And once you've taken charge of your day, you're ready to steer your mind with the same strength. What if you could captain your thoughts, your emotions, your entire inner world? Let's dive into that next. I am the captain of my mind. Let's dive into something profound, my friend. You've claimed today as your opportunity and taken charge of its hours. But there's a deeper frontier to conquer. One that shapes every choice, every moment, every step you take. Your mind. It's a wild, beautiful place. Isn't it? A vast ocean where thoughts crash like waves and emotions swirl like unpredictable winds. Some days, it lifts you to heights you never imagined. Others, it threatens to pull you under. But here's the truth I want you to carry with you. You are the captain of this ship. When you wake up and declare, I am the captain of my mind, you're not just speaking words. You're seizing the helm, ready to navigate any storm life throws your way. And trust me, that changes everything. Think about your mind for a moment. It's like a high-powered race car, capable of incredible speed, but only if you know how to steer it. Left unchecked, it can veer off course, racing toward anger, doubt, or fear before you even realize what's happening. I've been there, reacting to a harsh word or a bad moment like it owned me. A coworker's criticism would sting, and I'd spend hours replaying it, letting it sour my day. A missed deadline would spiral into I'm not good enough. And suddenly I was sinking in self-doubt. Sound familiar? It's so easy to let emotions take the wheel, to let a single thought derail you. But the Stoics, those masters of inner strength, taught us something radical. Your thoughts and feelings don't control you unless you let them. Let me tell you about Alex, a guy I met at a mindfulness retreat. Alex was a firefighter, tough as nails on the outside, but he confessed he felt like a prisoner to his own mind. I face danger every day, he said. But the real fight is up here. He pointed to his head. Anger was his biggest struggle, road rage, snapping at his wife over small things, even fuming at himself for mistakes. It wasn't just draining him. It was pushing away the people he loved. I asked him, "What do you say to yourself when you feel that anger rising?" He shrugged. "I don't say anything. It just takes over." That's when I shared a Stoic gem from Epictetus. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Alex decided to try something new. Every morning, he'd stand in front of his bathroom mirror and say, I am the captain of my mind. Then, throughout the day when anger flared, maybe a driver cut him off or a call at work went sideways, he'd pause. He'd take a breath and ask, is this worth my energy? Can I choose a different response? At first, it felt like wrestling a tidal wave. But slowly, he noticed a shift. Instead of exploding, he'd redirect his focus. maybe cracking a joke to lighten the mood or stepping away to cool off. Over months, Alex didn't just manage his anger. He transformed how he showed up in the world. His wife noticed it, his crew respected it, and most importantly, he felt free. Not because life stopped pushing his buttons, but because he stopped letting it steer. Here's why this matters. Your mind is the lens through which you see everything. If it's clouded by unchecked emotions or runaway thoughts, the world looks darker, heavier. But when you take the helm, you choose what to amplify and what to let pass. Psychology backs this up. Studies from Stanford University show that practicing cognitive reappraisal, or consciously reframing your reactions and emotions, can rewire how you experience stress. It's like tuning a radio. You can't stop the static, but you can dial into a clearer station. The Stoics were doing this long before labs and white coats, training their minds to focus on what they could control, their judgments, their actions, their will. So how do you become the captain? It starts with awareness. Tomorrow morning, as you wake, say, I am the captain of my mind. Let it be your anchor. Then, when a thought or emotion tries to hijack you, maybe anxiety about a big meeting or frustration from a rude comment, pause, name it. This is fear. This is anger. Naming it strips its power. Then choose, what do I want to focus on instead? Maybe it's gratitude for a chance to grow or resolve to stay calm. It's not about suppressing feelings. It's about steering them. Over time, you'll notice you're not just reacting, you're creating. You're crafting a life where you decide what matters. This isn't a one-and-done trick. It's a practice like building muscle. Some days you'll slip, and that's okay. The goal is progress, not perfection. Each time you choose your response, you're strengthening your grip on the wheel. You're proving to yourself that no storm, no bad mood, no harsh word can knock you off course. Imagine the freedom of knowing you're not at the mercy of your mind's whims. That's the gift of being the captain. You sail toward clarity, purpose, and peace, no matter the weather. But steering your mind is just the beginning. What if every choice you make today could build a future that lights you up? Let's explore that next. Today, I build my future. You've taken the helm of your mind, my friend, and that's no small feat now. Let's turn that inner strength outward and talk about something that can set your soul on fire. Your future. Not some far-off dream you'll chase someday, but a reality you're shaping right now, with every step, every choice, every moment. When you wake up and say, today I build my future, you're not just setting an intention, you're laying bricks for a life that reflects your deepest desires. Because here's the deal, the future isn't a place you stumble into, it's a house you construct, and today's actions are the foundation. Let's get real. It's easy to think of the future as this distant horizon, something you'll deal with when you're ready, maybe when you have more time, more money, or fewer problems. But that's a trap. The future doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It's being molded by what you do today. Think about it. Every habit you nurture, every skill you hone, every small win you claim, it's all compound interest for your life. I learned this the hard way. Years ago, I kept putting off learning a new language. I'll start when I'm less busy, I'd say. Spoiler, that day never came. Then one morning, I decided to spend just 10 minutes on it. 10 minutes. By the end of a year, I was holding basic conversations. That wasn't magic, it was proof that small actions stack up. I want to share a story about Lisa, a barista I met at my local coffee shop. Lisa loved photography but treated it like a hobby she'd get serious about later. She'd scroll through Instagram, envying photographers with big followings, feeling like she'd missed her shot. One day, as she handed me my latte, she sighed, I wish I could do that for a living. I asked, what's stopping you? She listed the usual suspects. No time, no fancy gear, no connections. So I challenged her. What if, for 1 month, you treated every day as a chance to build that future? She agreed to try. Lisa started small. Each morning, she'd say, today I build my future. Then commit to one tiny step. Maybe it was taking photos on her phone during her break or watching a free YouTube tutorial on editing. She posted her work online, even though it felt scary. Within weeks, she was experimenting with lighting, composition, things she'd never dared try. By month's end, a local cafe asked to display her prints. It wasn't a big gig, but it was a spark. Lisa wasn't a famous photographer yet, but she was no longer just dreaming. She was building. Today, she's got a small side hustle shooting events, and her eyes light up when she talks about it. All because she stopped waiting and started acting. This is what the Stoics meant when they said your life is what your thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius didn't build an empire by wishing for it. He acted, day after day, with intention. Science agrees. James Clear's work in Atomic Habits shows that improving just 1% daily compounds into massive change over time. 1%. That's a 10-minute walk instead of hitting snooze, a single-page read instead of scrolling, a kind word instead of silence. These aren't grand gestures. They're deliberate choices that shape who you'll become. So how do you start? Tomorrow morning, say, "Today I build my future." Then pick one thing, one that moves you toward a goal. Want to get fit? Do 5 push-ups. Want to switch careers? Spend 15 minutes researching. Want stronger relationships? Call someone you love. Make it so small you can't fail, but do it with purpose. Then, before bed, reflect. What did I build today? Over weeks, those moments stack into habits, then results. You'll look back and see a path you paved, not a road you wandered. Your future isn't a lottery ticket. It's a blueprint. You're the architect, and today's the day you pick up the tools. So tell me, what's one brick you'll lay tomorrow? Because once you start building, you'll realize the life you want isn't out there. It's already in your hands. And what if you could lighten the load as you build? What if letting go of what you can't control could free you to create even more? That's where we're headed next. I let go of what is not in my control. You've taken the helm of your mind and started building a future that excites you, my friend. But let's talk about something that can weigh you down if you're not careful. Those things you carry that aren't even yours to hold. The traffic jam that makes you late, the coworker's bad mood, the what-ifs that keep you up at night. Life loves to throw curveballs, doesn't it? It's so easy to grip them tightly, to let them steal your energy, your focus, your peace. But here's a truth that can set you free. When you wake up and say, "I let go of what is not in my control," you're not just releasing burdens, you're reclaiming your power. And on this journey with ZenLite8, I'm here to show you how that one choice can transform the way you live. Let's paint a picture. You wake up, ready to tackle the day, and then, bam, something goes wrong. Maybe your kid forgets their homework, or your boss drops a last-minute deadline, or the news is just a non-stop parade of chaos. Your first instinct might be to stress, to wrestle with it in your mind like it's a puzzle you can solve. I've done it too, lying awake worrying about a friend's opinion or replaying a mistake I couldn't undo. But here's the kicker. Most of what stresses us out isn't ours to fix. The Stoics figured this out centuries ago, and it's like they handed us a golden ticket to freedom. Epictetus said it best. Some things are in our control and others are not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Everything else? Let it go. I want to tell you about Rachel, a teacher I met at a community event. Rachel was a pro at her job, but she carried the weight of the world. She'd stress about her students' home lives, her principal's feedback, even the weather ruining her lesson plans. "I feel like I'm failing everyone," she told me, her eyes tired. I asked her, "How much of what you're carrying can you actually change?" She paused, then listed things, parents' choices, budget cuts, kids' attitudes that weren't in her hands. So I shared a Stoic practice. Every morning, draw a line between what you can control and what you can't. Focus on the first, let go of the second. Rachel decided to try it. The next day, she woke up and said, "I let go of what is not in my control." Before heading to school, she jotted down what she could influence. Her lesson prep, her patience, her kindness. When a student acted out, instead of taking it personally, she reminded herself, "Their behavior isn't my burden." When a meeting got heated, she focused on her own words, not others' reactions. It wasn't magic. Some days were still tough, but Rachel started feeling lighter. She had more energy to inspire her students, more clarity to solve real problems. By letting go, she wasn't giving up. She was doubling down on what mattered. Months later, she told me, "I used to think control meant fixing everything. Now I know it means choosing where my heart goes." This is the heart of Stoic wisdom. Freedom comes from knowing what's yours. Your attitude, yours. Your effort, yours. Your choices, all yours. But the weather, other people's opinions, the past, those are like clouds. You can see them, but you can't hold them. Trying to is like chasing smoke. It just leaves you frustrated. Psychology supports this too. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that focusing on controllable factors, like how you respond to stress, reduces anxiety and boosts resilience. It's like clearing clutter from your mind, making space for what you can actually shape. So how do you make this real? Start tomorrow morning. Say, "I let go of what is not in my control." Then take a minute to sort your day. Ask, "What can I influence today?" Maybe it's how you prepare for a meeting or how you treat a stranger. Write those down. Then ask, "What's not mine to carry?" The news cycle, a friend's bad day, a mistake from last week. Let them float away. When something tests you, and it will, pause, breathe. Remind yourself, this isn't mine. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing where your energy flows. You'll be amazed at how much strength you find when you stop fighting battles that aren't yours. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It's like dropping a heavy backpack before a long hike. You move faster, breathe easier, see clearer. You're not running from life. You're running toward it, unburdened, ready to make a difference where it counts. So tell me, what are you ready to release today? Because when you let go of what you can't control, you make room to become the best version of yourself. And speaking of becoming better, what if every day was a chance to outshine who you were yesterday? Let's dive into that next. Today, I will be better than yesterday. You've lightened your load, my friend, and that's a powerful step. Now let's turn that freedom into momentum. Imagine waking up with a spark in your chest, not because the day is perfect, but because you know it's a chance to grow, to stretch, to become a little sharper than the person you were yesterday. When you say, "Today I will be better than yesterday," you're not chasing someone else's success or comparing yourself to the world. You're competing with the only person who matters, you. This isn't about giant leaps. It's about small, steady steps that stack into a life you're proud of. And trust me, that's where the real magic happens. Let's be honest. It's so easy to wake up stuck in yesterday's shadow. Maybe you didn't hit the gym like you planned, or you snapped at someone you love, or you just felt off. Those moments can linger, whispering that you're not enough. I felt it too, beating myself up for a missed goal or a bad day, thinking it defines me. But the Stoics had a different take. They didn't dwell on what was, they focused on what could be. Seneca said, "Every new day is a chance to begin again. Not to be perfect, but to be better. One degree, one choice, one moment at a time." I want to share a story about Tom, a guy I met at a local running group. Tom was in his 40s, out of shape and frustrated with himself. He tried getting fit before, but always quit, convinced he'd failed because he wasn't running marathons in a month. "I'm too old to change," he told me, kicking at the dirt. I asked, "What if you didn't have to be a rock star runner? What if you just aimed to be better than yesterday's Tom?" He looked skeptical but agreed to try. The next morning, he woke up and said, "Today I'll be better than yesterday." His goal? Run 1 minute longer than the day before. That's it. That first week, Tom added a minute daily, barely noticeable. But by week 2, he was running 10 minutes straight. He started eating 1 healthier meal a day, then 2. He didn't compare himself to the group's fastest runners. He compared himself to last week's Tom. 3 months later, he ran his first 5K, not to win, but to prove he could. Tom wasn't just fitter. He was prouder, happier, more alive. "I didn't realize how much those little wins add up," he told me, grinning. His secret wasn't a fancy plan. It was choosing to improve, day by day, against himself. This is what sets growth apart from stagnation. Progress over perfection. Science backs it too. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who focus on self-improvement, small, consistent gains, build stronger confidence and resilience than those chasing external benchmarks. It's like planting a tree. You don't see it grow overnight, but water it daily, and one day it's towering. Every time you choose better, reading a page, listening more, trying again, you're watering your own growth. Here's how to make it yours. Tomorrow morning, say, "Today I will be better than yesterday." Pick one thing to improve. It could be patience, focus, kindness, anything. Maybe you'll spend 5 minutes learning a skill or hold your tongue in a tense moment. Keep it small but intentional. At night, reflect, what did I do better today? Even if it's tiny, celebrate it. Those wins build momentum. And don't compare yourself to others. Instagram's highlight reels aren't your mirror. Your only rival is yesterday's you. This isn't about erasing mistakes. It's about learning from them. You'll stumble, everyone does. But each stumble is a lesson. Each day a fresh start. Imagine looking back a year from now, seeing how far those daily betters have taken you. That's the beauty of this path. You're not chasing a finish line. You're building a stronger you, one choice at a time. So what's your next step toward better? Because when you commit to growth, you're not just living, you're thriving. And what if your actions could speak louder than any words? Let's explore that next. My actions will speak for me. You've committed to becoming better every day, my friend, and that's a powerful promise. But let's get to the heart of what makes that promise real. Action. Words are easy. Promises, plans, resolutions roll off the tongue like a catchy tune, but they fade fast if nothing backs them up. When you wake up and say, "My actions will speak for me," you're not just setting a goal. You're drawing a line in the sand. You're telling the world, and more importantly yourself, that you're done with empty talk. You're ready to show up, to do the work, to let your choices shout louder than any speech ever could. On this journey with ZenLite8, I'm here to show you why actions are your truest voice and how they can reshape your life. Think about the people you admire most. Maybe it's a parent who quietly worked 2 jobs to keep the lights on, or a friend who showed up when you needed them. No questions asked. What makes them stand out? It's not what they said. It's what they did. Words can inspire, sure, but actions build trust, respect, and legacy. I've fallen into the trap of overpromising myself, saying I'd hit the gym, start that project, or be kinder, only to let days slip by with nothing to show for it. It's humbling to realize how quickly "I'll do it tomorrow" becomes a habit. But the Stoics cut through that noise with brutal clarity. Epictetus didn't mince words. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Your life, they believed, is your loudest statement. Let me tell you about Maria, a woman I met at a small business workshop. Maria dreamed of opening her own bakery, but was stuck in a cycle of talking about it. Endless plans, vision boards, late-night chats about her big idea. Yet her kitchen stayed quiet, her recipes untested. "I'm not ready," she'd say, waiting for the perfect moment, the right funds, the flawless plan. During a break, I asked her, "What's one thing you could do today to make this real?" She hesitated, then admitted she'd never even baked for others outside her family. So I challenged her. For 1 week, stop talking about the bakery. Instead, act. Do something, anything that moves you closer. Maria took it to heart. The next morning, she woke up and said, "My actions will speak for me." She baked a batch of her signature cinnamon rolls and gave them to her coworkers, asking for honest feedback. Nervous? Sure. But their smiles and suggestions lit a fire in her. The next day, she tweaked the recipe. By week's end, she'd sold a dozen to a neighbor. It wasn't a bakery yet, but it was a start. Maria stopped waiting for ready and started doing. Within a year, she was catering small events, saving for a storefront. Her actions didn't just build a business. They built her confidence, her courage, her proof. "I used to think I needed to say the right things," she told me later. "Now I know my work says it all." This is the Stoic way. Let your results do the talking. It's not about grand gestures, it's about consistency. Science backs this up too. A study from the University of Chicago found that people who focus on task completion, actually doing what they set out to, report higher self-esteem and lower regret than those who dwell on intentions. It's like planting seeds. You can talk about a garden all you want, but until you dig in the dirt, nothing grows. Every action, no matter how small, is a seed. A single push-up, a page written, a promise kept. It all compounds into a life that reflects who you want to be. So how do you make this yours? Start tomorrow morning. Say, "My actions will speak for me." Pick one thing you've been promising yourself. Maybe it's calling a loved one, tackling a work task, or taking a walk. Do it, no excuses. Don't announce it to the world. Just get it done. Then notice how it feels, that quiet pride of following through. When temptation creeps in to procrastinate, remind yourself, words fade, but actions endure. You're not proving anything to others, you're proving it to you. And if you slip, don't beat yourself up. Act tomorrow. One step forward is still forward. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. Every time you act, you're writing your story in bold ink, not faint pencil. You're showing yourself you're reliable, capable, worthy. Imagine the power of looking back and knowing your life wasn't just talk. It was built. So what's one action you'll take today? Because when your deeds speak, the world listens, and so do you. But action alone isn't enough if fear's holding the reins. What if you could face every day with courage, unshaken by doubt? Let's dive into that next. Today I face the day without fear. You've let your actions start speaking, my friend, and that's a game changer. But there's a shadow that can creep in, quiet at first, then loud enough to drown out your momentum. Fear. It's that knot in your stomach before a big moment. That voice whispering, "What if you fail?" It's human, universal, and sneaky as hell. But here's the truth I want you to hold tight. Fear only wins if you let it. When you wake up and say, "Today I face the day without fear," you're not pretending to be fearless. You're choosing to move forward anyway. And on this stoic path with ZenLite8, I'm here to show you how that choice can unlock a life of bold, beautiful possibility. Let's be real. Fear shows up everywhere. It's there when you think about asking for a raise, sharing your art, or even saying, "I'm sorry" to someone you've hurt. I felt it too. Standing at the edge of a decision, heart racing, mind spinning, worst-case scenarios. Once, I almost bailed on a public speaking gig because I was terrified I'd freeze up. My brain screamed, "You're not ready." But then I remembered something the Stoics taught us. Fear isn't the problem. It's what you do with it. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plagues, and betrayal. Yet he wrote, "If you face adversity with fear, you will suffer twice." Twice. Once in your head, then in reality. That hit me hard. Why let fear punish me before life even has a chance? I want to tell you about Sam, a guy I met through a community theater group. Sam loved acting but had stage fright so bad he'd nearly pass out before auditions. "I want to perform," he told me. "But what if I mess up? What if they laugh?" His fear wasn't just nerves, it was paralyzing him from his passion. So I shared a stoic trick. Fear shrinks when you face it head-on. I asked him to try something for one audition. Wake up, look in the mirror, and say, "Today I face the day without fear." Then go, not to be perfect, but to show up. Sam took the challenge. The morning of his next audition, he said those words, hands shaking but voice steady. At the theater, his heart pounded, but he stepped onto the stage anyway. He stumbled on a line, yep, his worst nightmare, but kept going. To his shock, the director didn't laugh. They nodded, impressed by his grit. Sam didn't get the lead, but he got a role. More than that, he got courage. "I was scared," he told me later, "but doing it anyway, that felt like winning." Sam's still acting, still nervous sometimes, but fear doesn't own him anymore. He does. Here's why this matters. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Psychology tells us it's just your brain's alarm system, firing up to protect you. But it can't tell the difference between a real threat, like a bear in your yard, and an imagined one, like bombing a presentation. A study from UCLA found that taking action despite fear, called approach behavior, rewires your brain to see challenges as manageable. The Stoics were way ahead of the curve. treating fear like a sparring partner, not an enemy. You don't eliminate it. You train with it, stepping into the ring until it loses its punch. So how do you face your day fearlessly? Start tomorrow. Say, "Today I face the day without fear." Pick one thing that scares you. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, starting a new hobby, or having a tough conversation. Take one step toward it, even if it's small. Feel the fear, but don't let it drive. Ask, what's the worst that could happen? Usually, it's not as bad as your mind screams. And if it flops, you're still here, stronger for trying. Each step chips away at fear's grip, building a muscle called courage. This isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about not letting fear call the shots. You're not a bystander in your life. You're the hero. Every time you act despite that knot in your gut, you're rewriting what's possible. Imagine a year from now, looking back at all you dared to do because you didn't let fear win. That's a life worth living. So what scares you today? Because when you face it, you're not just moving forward, you're soaring. And what if life's challenges weren't roadblocks, but lessons waiting to shape you? That's where we're headed next. I learn from the obstacles life puts in my path. You've faced your fears head-on, my friend, and that's no small victory. But life has a way of testing us, doesn't it? Just when you think you're gaining ground, a hurdle appears. A missed opportunity, a tough conversation, or a plan that falls apart. It's tempting to shake your fist at the sky and ask, "Why me?" I've been there, grumbling when things didn't go my way, feeling like every setback was a personal attack. But what if those obstacles aren't here to stop you? What if they're here to shape you? When you wake up and say, "I learn from the obstacles life puts in my path," you're not just brushing off hard times. You're turning them into stepping stones. On this Stoic journey with ZenLite8, I'm here to show you how to transform life's challenges into your greatest teachers. Let's rethink what an obstacle is. Too often, we see it as a wall, something to dread, avoid, or curse. But the Stoics, those wise navigators of life storms, saw obstacles as raw material for growth. Seneca put it perfectly, "Nothing strengthens us as much as a blow that does not kill us." Every stumble, every rejection, every moment that tests your patience, it's all a chance to sharpen your character, to uncover strength you didn't know you had. I used to think success meant a smooth path, but I've learned it's the rough patches that carve out who you become. Think about it. A diamond doesn't shine until it's been cut, polished, pressured. You're no different. I want to share a story about Emily, a woman I met at a career networking event. Emily was a marketing assistant who'd been passed over for a promotion she'd worked hard for. She was crushed, convinced it meant she wasn't good enough. "I poured everything into that role," she told me, her voice tight with disappointment. "What's the point if it all falls apart?" I could feel her pain. It's heavy when your efforts don't land where you hoped. So I asked her, "What if this isn't a dead end? What if it's teaching you something?" She looked skeptical, but I shared a Stoic practice. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Emily decided to give it a try. The next morning, she woke up and said, "I learned from the obstacles life puts in my path." She sat down with a notebook and reflected on the rejection. What could it teach her? She realized she'd leaned too heavily on her technical skills, but hadn't showcased her leadership. Instead of sulking, she enrolled in a management course and started volunteering for team projects. The next time a promotion came up, she was ready, not just with skills, but with confidence earned through adversity. She got the job, but more than that, she gained a new lens. Obstacles weren't failures. They were lessons. "I used to hate setbacks," she told me later. "Now I see them as my training ground." This mindset is a game changer. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about mining hardship for wisdom. Science backs this up. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that people who view challenges as opportunities to learn outperform those who see them as threats. It's like a mental switch. Instead of, "This is too hard," you think, "This is making me stronger." That shift doesn't erase the struggle, but it gives it purpose. Every time you ask, "What's this teaching me?" you're turning pain into progress, frustration into fuel. So how do you make this yours? Start tomorrow morning. Say, I learn from the obstacles life puts in my path. When something goes wrong, a delayed project, an argument, a missed goal, pause. Don't complain. Question. Ask, what can I take from this? Maybe a tough coworker teaches you patience. Maybe a failed pitch shows you how to communicate better. Write it down if you need to. It makes the lesson stick. Then act on it, even in a small way. Over time, you'll see obstacles not as walls but as staircases, each one lifting you higher. This isn't about ignoring disappointment. Feel it, sure, but don't let it define you. You're not a victim of life's twists. You're a student of them. Imagine looking back and realizing every hurdle made you wiser, tougher, better. That's the power of learning from what challenges you. So what's one obstacle you're facing right now? Because when you embrace it as a teacher, you're not just moving forward, you're evolving. And as you grow from life's lessons, what if you could steer your path with bold, deliberate choices? Let's explore that next. Content 11. My decisions guide my life. You're learning to turn obstacles into opportunities, my friend, and that's building a resilience most people only dream of. But there's another layer to this stoic journey, one that puts you firmly in the driver's seat of your destiny. Every day, life hands you a crossroads. Big choices, small ones, moments where you can step up or stand still. It's so easy to hesitate, to let doubt or fear pick your path for you. But when you wake up and say, my decisions guide my life, you're claiming the power to shape your future. Not with luck or chance, but with courage and clarity. On this path with ZenLite8, I'm here to show you why every choice you make is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, and how to paint boldly. Let's talk about decisions. They're not just what you do, they're who you become. The coffee you grab instead of hitting snooze, the no you say to a draining commitment, the leap you take toward a dream. Each one is a thread in your story. I used to think decisions were only the big ones. Career changes, moving cities, saying, I do. But the Stoics taught me something deeper. Life is the sum of your small choices, the ones you make quietly, daily. Seneca nailed it. If you don't know which port you're sailing to, no wind will be favorable. Without direction, you're drifting. With decisions, you're steering. I want to tell you about Jamal, a guy I met at a community center. Jamal was a delivery driver with a knack for fixing things, cars, appliances, you name it. He dreamed of opening a repair shop, but kept putting it off. What if it fails, he'd say. What if I'm not ready? Doubt was his anchor, keeping him stuck. One evening, over a game of chess, I asked him, who's choosing your path right now? You or your fear? That hit him. I shared a Stoic principle. Every decision is a vote for the life you want. Waiting for certainty is just choosing to stay still. Jamal decided to act. The next morning, he woke up and said, my decisions guide my life. His first move, spend an hour researching business licenses instead of scrolling online. It was small, but it felt huge. The next day, he saved $20 toward his goal. Over months, he took classes, networked with shop owners, and built a plan. Was he scared? Hell yes. But each choice, each deliberate step, pulled him closer to his dream. A year later, Jamal leased a tiny garage. It wasn't fancy, but it was his. I used to think life would just happen, he told me, beaming. Now I know I'm making it happen. This is what decisions do. They turn dreams into reality. Science supports it too. A study from Columbia University found that proactive decision-making, choosing intentionally rather than reacting, correlates with higher life satisfaction and lower stress. It's like driving a car. If you don't pick a route, you'll end up wherever the road takes you. But grip the wheel and you're in charge. That doesn't mean every choice is perfect. Some will flop. But even a wrong decision teaches you, moves you, keeps you alive. So how do you start? Tomorrow morning, say, my decisions guide my life. Pick one choice to make with intention. Maybe it's saying yes to a challenge, no to a distraction, or starting something you've delayed. Act on it even if it's scary. Doubt will whisper, "What if you're wrong?" Answer back, "What if I'm right?" At day's end, reflect, "What did I choose today?" Over time, you'll see your life shift, not by magic, but by your hand. And if you freeze, remember, not deciding is a decision too. Choose anyway. This isn't about control, it's about ownership. You can't predict the future, but you can shape it. Every yes, every no, every step is yours to claim. Imagine a life where you look back and say, "I built this." That's the power of deciding with purpose. So what's one choice you'll make today? Because when you steer your life, there's no limit to where you can go. And what if you could take all this, your growth, your choices, and aim for something even greater? Let's dive into that next. Today, I choose greatness. You've walked an incredible path so far, my friend. You've guarded your peace, seized each day's opportunity, and taken charge of your time, your mind, your future. You've let go of what weighs you down, grown better with every sunrise, acted with purpose, faced fear head-on, learned from life's challenges, and steered your life with bold decisions. Now we stand at the peak of this stoic journey, and there's one final truth to embrace. One that ties it all together and sets your soul ablaze. When you wake up and say, "Today I choose greatness," you're not chasing perfection or waiting for a spotlight moment. You're vowing to live with intention, to act with courage, to be the fullest, truest version of yourself. Right here, right now with ZenLite8, I'm here to show you how that choice can make every day a masterpiece. Greatness isn't what you might think. It's not about fame, wealth, or having it all figured out. The Stoics saw it differently. Greatness was living up to your potential, aligning your actions with your values, no matter the odds. Marcus Aurelius, juggling an empire and endless crises, didn't aim for statues or applause. He aimed to be just kind and resolute day after day. He wrote, "Stop talking about what a good man should be. Be one." That's the call. Don't just dream of a great life. Live it one deliberate choice at a time. I've spent too many mornings coasting, letting routine dull my spark, thinking someday I'd step up. But greatness doesn't wait for someday. It's born in the now. Let me tell you about Claire, a librarian I met at a community book club. Claire was shy, always in the background, with a quiet dream of writing a novel. She'd jot down ideas but never shared them, convinced she wasn't good enough yet. "I'll write when I'm ready," she'd say, her voice barely above a whisper. One night, I asked her, "What if you chose to be great today? Not perfect, but brave?" I shared Marcus Aurelius's words and something clicked. Claire decided to stop waiting. The next morning, she woke up and said, "Today I choose greatness." Her goal? Write one page, just one. That page was messy, full of crossed-out words, but it was hers. The next day, she wrote another. She joined a writer's group, shaking as she read her work aloud. Feedback stung, but she kept going. Within a year, Claire had a rough draft. Not a bestseller, but a testament to her courage. "I used to think greatness was for other people," she told me, her eyes bright. "Now I know it's just showing up as me fully." Claire's story isn't about fame. It's about claiming her life, refusing to shrink, and choosing to shine in her own way. That's greatness. Here's why this matters. Every day is a fork in the road. You can coast, doing what's easy, or you can choose to stretch, to act with purpose, to face discomfort, to grow into who you're meant to be. Science backs this up. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that people who pursue eudaimonic goals, living with meaning and purpose, report deeper fulfillment than those chasing fleeting pleasures. Greatness isn't a trophy. It's a feeling, a fire that burns when you know you're giving your all. The saying no to excuses, yes to challenges, and always to the person you're becoming. So how do you choose greatness? Start tomorrow morning. Say, "Today I choose greatness." Pick one way to live fully. Maybe it's tackling a task you've dodged, speaking your truth, or simply listening with your whole heart. Make it small but real. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself, this moment is yours to shape. At night, reflect, how was I great today? Even a tiny win, a held boundary, a kind gesture counts. Over time, those choices weave a life that's not just good, but extraordinary. You're not chasing a destination. You're crafting a legacy, one day at a time. This isn't about being flawless. You'll stumble, doubt, waver, it's human. But greatness isn't the absence of flaws. It's the courage to keep going. Imagine looking back and seeing a life built on choices you're proud of. Moments where you chose to be bigger than your fears, bolder than your doubts. That's the life waiting for you. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. So what's one way you'll choose greatness right now? Because when you do, you're not just living, you're soaring. My friend, we've traveled far together. From guarding your peace to choosing greatness, you've uncovered 12 truths that can light up your mornings and transform your life. Each one is a thread, weaving a tapestry of purpose, resilience, and joy. This isn't just philosophy, it's a way to live fully, to wake up every day knowing you're not just here to exist, but to thrive. The Stoics didn't promise an easy road, but they promised a meaningful one. And you, right now, are standing at the start of it. Picture your life a year from now if you embrace these truths. You're calmer, not because the world's quieter, but because you've built an unshakable core. You're bolder, not because fear's gone, but because you've learned to dance with it. You're prouder, not because you're perfect, but because your actions match your heart. This journey isn't about changing everything overnight. It's about small, steady choices that compound into a life you love. You've got the tools now. Guard your peace, seize your days, steer your mind, build your future. Let go, grow better, act, face fear, learn, decide, and choose greatness. The question is, what will you do with them? In a world that's louder and faster than ever, endless notifications, pressure to hustle, voices telling you who to be, these Stoic principles are your anchor. Social media might scream, compare, and despair, but you don't have to play that game. Start your day offline, even for 5 minutes, to center yourself. When stress hits, ask, what's mine to control? And let the rest slide. And most of all, live for you, not likes, not trends, but the quiet pride of knowing you're true to yourself. Life today moves fast, but you can move with purpose. If this journey sparked something in you, join us at ZenLite8 to keep the fire burning. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and dive into our playlists for more stories, wisdom, and tools to live boldly. And let's make this a community of growth. Drop a comment below with one word that captures your spark today. Breathe, let go, be present, stillness, flow, think deeper, inner peace, just live, mindful, life is now, choose growth. One moment, stay grounded. Know yourself, simple truth, time passes, be aware, silence speaks, perspective, accept change. I'm betting on grow. What's yours? Let's inspire each other and keep choosing greatness together.